Louise Mary Sawyer Taylor rose to notoriety as the so-called mastermind behind Britney Spears' conservatorship. And she tried to force me to stop making videos about her by meddling with my law firm employment, but that's a story for another day. She's had a lot of jobs in the entertainment industry, including publicist, accountant, life manager, attempted conservator, and business manager. But what a lot of people don't know is she's one of Hollywood's most prolific and profitable managers. She was sued alongside Travis Scott for the Astroworld tragedy, and her business associate and employee, Robin Greenhill, was accused in a lawsuit against P. Diddy of helping orchestrate an S-trafficking scheme. The other day, I had a revelation about this woman, and it goes all the way back to 1995. I think I uncovered the very beginnings of the Lou Taylor scheme plot, and I have reason to believe it took her literally decades to effectuate this ultimate plan. Everything in this video is just speculation, and I'm going to show you exactly where I got all of the information and the ideas that I did get, and you're free to make up your own mind by the end. So in order to tell this story appropriately, I think we need to go all the way back to 1992, which is more than 30 years ago. At the time, Lou Taylor was living in Florida. It's also no secret that Lou Taylor is a highly religious person, and I've speculated before that she actually trades on this reputation of Christianity in order to get herself further in the industry. It kind of makes people enter into this false sense of security whenever they think the person that they're working with has a strong Christian value or whatever, especially in particular whenever you're talking to someone else who shares those values, right?
Lou Taylor is the business manager for Britney Spears' father, mother, and younger sister, Jamie Lynn.
You know, I'm here to speak for Jamie and for Lynn. I mean, when do you ever rest in that if you're constantly in fear of being exploited? What they don't know about Jamie and Lynn Spears is that every day Jamie goes to work as a professional chef, asking the Lord to give him the strength to honor the people he works for in the midst of circumstances. That Lynn Spears loves her daughter so much, and again, asking every day for God to give her strength and for her to continue to have hope. So really I guess for me to be self-indulgent for a moment, that I would really hope that all those who seek God for strength in their life would be interceding for this family, because Jamie Spears, Lynn Spears, Brian, and Jamie Lynn Spears are all amazing people.
So what I uncovered has a lot to do with this Christianity piece. And fast forward to today, Lou Taylor's husband and Lou Taylor herself own a church in Brentwood, Tennessee called Calvary Chapel. Not only do they own a church, but they own a children's school / orphanage / I don't know, charity of some sort for children in Haiti called L'Acay Tulum. But that's today. That's in 2024. Let's travel back in time to 1992. Now, this is before Lou kind of enters the scene, but I want to set the stage. There was a local Christian radio station in Florida called WDYL, and they hosted a Christian business exposition where this man named Tim Thompson tried to convince local business people to congregate and, quote, network on a monthly basis. About 2 years later, April 1994, Thompson acted on his dream and formed a tentative board of directors for what would become the Richmond Christian Chamber of Commerce. So 1994, the Christian Chamber of Commerce International was established in Miami by a founder named Al Otero. The next year, an affiliate would be spawned and Lou Taylor would become the president of that. Al Otero, chamber founder and executive director, said more chapters are on the way in Florida. The chamber has a forum on CompuServe, and Otero says that they have received interest as far away as England. So far so good. It's the Christians wanting to network with each other and, talk to each other and do business with each other. And I really don't think that that's necessarily unusual or out of the ordinary. So 1995, the very next year, rolls around. October 8th, we finally see Lou Taylor being mentioned, and she's actually interviewing in the newspaper. Here's that. Now, there's actually quite a few articles at this same exact time that come out, and I'll put a few examples here, but it's almost like they packaged up a little press release and sent it off to a bunch of different local newspapers, because the same story verbatim is being told in all these, but there's a little bit different titles and a little bit different descriptions and captions under the pictures and stuff. For example, here's one such article: churches rallying around its own in South Florida, and then we have Lou Taylor being quoted. A lot of it has to do with Christians coming to a comfort level that it's okay to talk about business, said Lou M. Taylor, an accountant in Boca Raton and president of the Christian Chamber of Commerce. She says, it's a wonderful thing to be able to give praise to the Lord and do business with other Christians in the business community. It does give a little more information about the Christian Chamber of Commerce International, like sort of the umbrella organization. And it says they sponsor business card exchanges and breakfasts, and there are about 130 members in Broward and Dade counties. And the members include real estate agents, bankers, and car dealers, like the most ethical people of our society, y'all. The car dealers and the real estate brokers and the bankers. Amen. So that's like the fall time of 1995. But by February of 1996, other organizations were already having an issue with this Christian Chamber of Commerce, which Lou Taylor is the president of one of the chapters. The Anti-Defamation League wrote an opinion piece in the local newspaper taking issue not only with the Christian Chamber of Commerce, but with how the local newspapers were actually spreading this message. And again, y'all, because this same exact article verbatim did appear and was syndicated through many local newspapers at the time, I do believe that it was a press package put together by the Christian Chamber of Commerce, of which Lou Taylor was a president of one of the chapters. So the Anti-Defamation League of Palm Beach did take issue with the Christian Chamber of Commerce and how it was being advertised. And here's the opinion piece that they did write in February of 1996. They said, base business on merit, not religion. Your lead to a recent article profiling the Christian Chamber of Commerce was misguided and offensive. And what these people are talking about is the lead in to that article was like, where can you find an ethical car salesman, an ethical realist, right? They're saying that. And then they're saying, oh, you can find them at the Christian Chamber of Commerce. And the Anti-Defamation League is like, hold on, just because somebody's a Christian or pretending to be doesn't mean anything. What do you mean ethics? You can't be ethical without religion? Kind of their issue they're taking. So here's that opinion piece again. They say, in asking where you can find an ethical car salesman, an honest lawyer, a generous accountant in the same room together, a meeting of the Christian Chamber of Commerce, they say you suggested that everyone outside of the organization is suspect and not to be trusted in daily business practices. Such an introduction violates journalistic standards by abandoning objectivity and endorsing the group's message. We do not contest the members' free association right to form the Christian Chamber of Commerce. So saying, yeah, they have a right to do this stuff. That's not really the issue. The issue is how y'all are presenting it. We believe, the Anti-Defamation League said, such enterprises unnecessarily inject religion into the marketplace. The message to quote, buy Christian, preferably or exclusively, sends a discomforting message in a pluralistic society. So one of the things that the Christian Chamber of Commerce does say is that anybody can join, but in order to join, you have to sign an oath saying that you believe Jesus is the Lord and Savior and the only way through. I'll put the exact quote right here or whatever, but you have to sign an oath basically agreeing to Christian belief system. So the Anti-Defamation League is like, hold on. They're saying they're open to everybody, but they're not. They're clearly not. Look, any organization that requires a written oath proclaiming the signer's belief in Jesus essentially excludes non-Christians. In some states, such groups have been outlawed by statute. Perhaps Florida should contemplate taking such an action as well. Then people would be encouraged to do business on the basis of merit and not group identity. Again, this is just their opinion. I'm not weighing in on that. And that's just a little bit of the socio-political context that was going on at the time. But at the same time, that's whenever we get Lou Taylor starting to do interviews about prosperity. And this is actually a doctrine, the prosperity doctrine, which is inundated in these Hollywood megachurches. And Hillsong comes in later, 2012, 2016, later on as the home church of people like all of the Jenners. At one point, Kanye West, Selena Gomez, Justin Bieber, Hailey Bieber. There's all these very famous people at the Hillsong Church. And one of the shaping members of the Hillsong International regime, I did talk about in the very first BJ Investigates I ever made. Okay, so now I have this section called Hillsong, and buckle up, girl. Brian, let's talk a little bit about him. Brian is the current president, CEO, whatever, leader of Hillsong.
You're watching the Christian channel. Jesus is the Lord of the airwaves.
New from Pastor Brian Houston, money.
There's not one person in this building who doesn't need more money. And if you say, well, I don't need more money, then I would say you have a very poor outlook on life.
You'll learn why you need more money.
Because money is a tool that can accomplish phenomenal things. What money can do in your hand is bless, it can help, it can build, it can increase, it can bring vision, it can strengthen.
Brian Houston is one of these like prosperity preachers that like thinks like the more money and flashy you are, the more God has favor on you. So he says, you need more money. This is the name of Brian's book. You need more money. God's amazing financial plan for your life. As Frank's dark secrets gradually came to light, Brian slid slowly into a growing dependence on sleeping pills. Oh, okay. Frank Houston is the founder of Hillsong. Now, Hillsong was founded in Australia, which a lot of people don't necessarily know. Somebody said the patron saint of Hillsong was Gianni Versace.
Say he with my posse, caught me Chloe like Kardashian. Keep this in Versace.
Now, if we travel back in time, all the way back to Lou Taylor doing interviews in 1996, at this time, she was talking about the prosperity doctrine in other terms. Here is one such interview from Lou Taylor, and this one is from March 31st, 1996. The title of the article is Christian Chambers Firms Put Values to Work. So it's a continuation of an article from probably the front page, but it says, quote, God does not want his body to be poor, Lou Taylor said. I bless others as I prosper. But Taylor, who's also president of TriStar Accounting Group in Boca Raton, says the chamber is not about getting rich. Quote, it's not about money, she said. I want to be able to provide good benefits for my employees. I don't think other businesses put themselves in the position to distribute that profit. Taylor said her faith helps her communicate better with her employees and that the chamber will help instill mutual respect among employees and managers. She says it's about temperament. You pray before approaching a situation. Now remember this right here because that's going to become important a little later. Lou says we're a different breed from ordinary business owners. Well, with that, I would have to agree. And then the article goes on to say, besides setting an example, the Christian Chamber has the resources, that means money, to help members start businesses, Otero said. For example, it can refer budding entrepreneurs to banks friendly with the chamber for loans. But that will not lead to discrimination against non-Christians, says Linda Longo, who is actually the chamber executive of the Palm Beach County Chamber with Lou Taylor. They kind of work together. Here's a picture of both of them together. This Linda lady says, quote, it doesn't mean we want to be segregated. It's an opportunity for us to show people how we do business. Well, girl, we see how y'all do business and it has not been pretty. So at this point, by 1996, I'm already getting the sense that Lou Taylor definitely relies on her Christian identity and her Christian religion in order to get business. And she also seems to strongly believe that because she is a Christian, because she is subscribing to this religion, she deserves prosperity. This word prosperity is very important because it is specifically an evangelical tag word for this doctrine. God does not want his body to be poor is something that these people really believe. And I don't know, maybe that's true. I don't know. But you just start to see how Lou Taylor does inextricably intertwine her Christian-based identity and values with business. And for me, let me go get my Bible. Hold on.
Sometime later.
So I did go and get my copy of the Bible, and I'm going to read y'all what Jesus Christ actually said, translated from Aramaic into English. This Bible, there's been no meddling by King James. There's been no meddling. It came straight from Aramaic. See this? First verse, this is Lou Taylor's religion. That's why I'm reading the Bible, because I do have the Bhagavad Gita and I got the Quran. I got all of them. So whatever religion you want, I read your book and I'm going to tell you what it says. This is one of my favorite Jesus stories too. Talking about, I thank God because we are responsible for bringing up the next generation of business people. In this article here, Lou Taylor says, quote, we bring together businesses to pray together and do business together. Money and religion, Lou Taylor says, are not incompatible. In this article called There's No Biz Like a Christian Biz, we see their model. A good reputation is to be chosen above great riches. So yeah, that does definitely seem like something that the Bible would endorse. Lou Taylor says our ethics policy is geared toward a biblical-based point of view. And she says she has no problem being called a Jesus freak. She says this is not a venue for proselytizing, but rather a vehicle through which like-minded business people can grow their business, support each other, and network. She says this is not a venue for evangelicalizing, for proselytizing. No. The Christian Chamber of Commerce, Lou Taylor said, is rather a vehicle through which like-minded business people can grow their business, network, support one another, and share their faith all at the same time. Again, she says she prayed over it and she really believes that this is the way God asked her to go. In this 1996 article entitled Bringing God to Business, Lou Taylor interviews yet again and says the following, quote, "It amazes me the number of business people that have not taken their beliefs into the workplace. There are so many Sunday Christians." That same article goes on to say, members of the Christian Chamber will soon be able to take advantage of comprehensive benefits plans. By early May 1996, they were going to offer a plan including medical, dental, and optical insurance, a discount drug card, long-distance discounts, travel discounts, attraction discounts, and a variety of other things. The monthly meetings were primarily just get-togethers, but Lou Taylor said the networking and fellowship events, as well as small business seminars, are in the planning stages. She said, "We strengthen each other in this group, and people are so excited to see what's happening." In this article, Lou M. Taylor, an accountant in Boca Raton and president of the chamber, said the following quote, "A lot of it has to do with Christians coming to a comfort level that it's okay to talk about business. It's a wonderful thing to be able to give praise to the Lord and do business with other Christians in the business community." Well, I consulted with the Holy Bible, and actually Lou Taylor's wrong. Now, the reason that I am consulting the Holy Bible and not the, for example, Quran or the Zohar is because Lou Taylor is a Christian. So she's sitting here talking about the Christians got to come to a comfort level that it's okay to do business with each other and talk about business and bring the business into the church and the church into the business and all of that. Well, Matthew 21 verses 13 through 14 do not agree. Let me put them up here on the screen. And this translation that I'm using of the Bible is the Holy Bible straight from Aramaic. Jesus Christ himself would have spoken Aramaic. And as y'all probably know, King James did meddle in the translation of the Christian Bible. And so I like to go directly to the source. And since I don't speak Aramaic, I just got it translated straight out of there. Okay. Matthew 21 verses 12 through 13. And Jesus entered into the temple of God and drove out all who were buying and selling in the temple. And he overturned the tables. Jesus walked into the temple of his Father and flipped the business people's tables over and said, "Get that shit out of here." I kind of like that story about Jesus. It's one of my favorite ones. It goes on to say, he overturned the trays of the money changers and the stands of those who sold doves. And he said to them, "It is written, my house shall be called the house of prayer, but you have made it a bandit's cave." That's not all Jesus said about merchants in his temple. Let's go to the next book in the Bible. This one's from Mark. Mark 11, verses 15 through 16. And they came to Jerusalem. And Jesus entered into the temple of God and began to cast out those who were buying and selling in the temple. And he overturned the trays of the money changers and the stands of those who sold doves. And he would not allow any man to bring goods into the temple. Verse 17, and he taught them, saying, "Is it not written, my house shall be called the house of prayer for all people, and you have made it into a bandit's cave." Lou Mary Sawyer Taylor. It's really about Christians coming to a comfort level of putting Jesus and money together. And this isn't for evangelicalizing. No, this is for networking and doing business. And that's why the good Lord's striking her down right now. You can't violate the people you pray to, because here, this will happen to you. Okay, so we're almost done with this Christian Chamber of Commerce piece, but it really is very important to understand the context of where Lou Taylor started in order to understand where she is today. So it all kind of started brewing in 1992. By 1994, there was that Christian Chamber of Commerce International. By 1995, Lou Taylor had started her own little chapter in Palm Beach where she was living, Boca Raton, wherever. 1996, a bunch of other chapters start opening. In 1997, that original guy from the radio station conference or whatever, Tim Thompson, just to throw in a little context here, his day job was the president of Old Dominion Asset Management. Now, Old Dominion is an evangelical word, like the Pentecostals like to use that word. But Old Dominion Asset Management is, again, mixing God and evangelical things with business, asset management. The man, I mean, unless he's doing it for free, I don't feel like he needs to be mixing God in with that. It's like trading on God's name in order to profit. Even just in and of itself, I know for a fact Jesus does not like that. He was flipping tables over, flipping them over. This is a house of prayer, not a bandit's cave. Thieves, bandits. That's what Jesus said, not me. So all that's happening in the 90s, and Lou Taylor does live right over there in Florida. Now, at some point, she did move to New York, or at least her business practices did. So blink and you miss it. But in 2000, Lou actually sold TriStar, which would become TriStar Sports and Entertainment. But at the time, it was called TriStar Accounting Group. She sold it to her business partner's company, Gilman Kiochia, or whatever. Okay. Now, this Gilman Kiochia, it keeps coming up because it's a parent company of one of the companies that Lou Taylor did work for called Prime Capital Services or something like that. She and this man, Mitchell Stanley Martin, worked at Prime Capital Services. And the owner of Prime Capital Services is this Gilman Kiochia company. So basically, her boss's boss bought TriStar. But then in 2001, the very next year, she bought it back. So I'm really not exactly sure what was going on with that, but it could possibly have something to do with the fact that she was in a little bit of financial trouble. So by 2001, Lou would slowly begin taking on higher profile clients as her accounting career progressed, and she would also expand her job titles and her responsibilities as well. Remember, back in the 90s, she was just an accountant who owned an accounting firm. But then by 2001, she was working as a, quote, publicist and spokesperson for a successful supermodel named Nikki Taylor. And this was a very famous supermodel at the time. So here's Lou Taylor in May 2001 talking about a car crash that Nikki Taylor did get into. Probably her first big name A-list household name type client. Nikki Taylor left a hospital for a private rehab. I wonder if it was owned by the Christians. Now, there's another thing too I wanted to say. This Tim Thompson situation, in this article right here, that he does say that members of the Christian chamber, quote, agree to pray for one another and refer clients to each other, right? It's an agreement. It's part of being in the club. You have to agree to refer clients to the other people in the Christian Chamber of Commerce. I need Jesus to walk in and flip somebody's table real quick. So there's this agreement. They have to agree. It's an oath. They have to agree. They have to agree to refer each other clients. So when I see something from 3 or 4 years later that says Nikki Taylor is going to a private rehab center, and I know that the people in the Christian Chamber of Commerce are the people who are in some of the seediest areas of business, including asset management, car sales, real estate, I just have to wonder, is this a refer a friend in the network or whatever? I mean, I don't know. The name of the Atlanta rehab center wasn't released. And then look right here. Nikki was wearing a seatbelt and appeared uninjured, but collapsed after getting out of the car, said publicist Lou Taylor, who's not related to the model. We're going to have to do a whole investigation on Nikki Taylor and why she collapsed after she got out the car, even though she wasn't injured and all that. But anyway, so this is 2001. And despite Lou's faith and rising profile, and despite the fact that she was a whole ass accountant in charge of other people's money, none of that stopped her own financial failures. Just 1 month after Lou's most famous client at the time, Nikki Taylor, did get into that mysterious car accident where she wasn't injured, but she still somehow collapsed outside the car. 1 month after that, Lou Taylor and her husband Rob file for bankruptcy. Miss Asset Management, Miss Finance Queen, Miss Accountant of the World, Miss I was in charge of hundreds of millions of dollars for Britney. She declared bankruptcy herself in 2001. So here are those filings. The next year, 2002, Louise M. Taylor is listed as agent of TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group in Brentwood. But look, it's at 9590 Liberty Church Road. So she's using the church address that her husband owns, Calvary Baptist or whatever, for her own business address. Again, mixing business and religion. That's a church. That's not the headquarters of your accounting firm. A few years goes by and it's 2005. This is another one of Lou Taylor's first most famous clients, and it was Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest. Now, Ron Artest had been basically goaded into getting into a fight at a basketball game. He's a basketball player. There's whole documentaries that have been done on this, but basically at the time, this group of men were very unfairly punished because some fans in the audience were really harassing and assaulting them. And I think it was criminal. They were throwing drinks at them. They were throwing things at them. And so finally, there was only so much the men could take, and then they retaliated. Well, when they did that, the media had a field day, and they were calling them everything but a child of God.
Ball hat right there. He's hitting Artest from behind. Watch another fan. Artest hit him, then
And this particular guy, who eventually ended up going by Meta World Peace, he was in trouble. And it was during that time that Lou Taylor did sink her talons into him. In the reporting about this client, Lou Taylor's TriStar is cited as a, quote, life management company for Ron Artest. Here's an excerpt here that he was not available for comment. He's not been available to the media since becoming a client of Lou Taylor's TriStar. And it's called, again, look, a life management company. And then they quote Lou Taylor. He's in great spirits and has been working out hard. He has great respect and admiration for Commissioner Stern. And there's other articles from this client-manager relationship in this article here where apparently Lou Taylor, quote, forced Meta World Peace, aka Ron Artest, to hire a housekeeper. And she was like in his house cleaning out his refrigerator. Here's the article. Ron has hired Brentwood-based manager Louise Lou Taylor, whose TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group company does nearly everything for the Stars, including management, bookkeeping, public relations, personal finance, life coaching, and even a little housekeeping. And again, I just can't help but wonder, are all these people getting hired part of the ring, part of the, network of Christians? Who's doing the bookkeeping? Who's doing the public relations? Who's doing the personal finance? Who's doing the life coaching? Because it ain't Lou sitting there with every single client, right? I mean, who's Cassie Petrie, for example? It says yesterday, and again, this article is from 2005, Lou, a no-nonsense, efficient manager, confirmed a report saying she once cleaned Ron's refrigerator and forced him to hire a housekeeper. Yes, I did clean it for him, and he took my advice and hired a housekeeper, and his wife was thrilled. But she just told us that she's in charge of literally everything in his life, so she hired the housekeeper. She just told you that. Yeah, he took my advice because I have control of his, again, entire life. Bookkeeping, public relations, personal finance, life coaching, and even a little housekeeping. Quote, our arms are wrapped around their entire lives. So fast forward 2 years and we're in 2007, and now we are fully engrossed in the Britney Spears saga of things. So by 2007, Lou Taylor is already Jamie Lynn Spears' business manager, and Jamie Lynn Spears had a show literally created for her called Zoe 101. Not only was the show created for her, but Brian Spears, Britney Spears' other sibling, was also pretty much handed a job to work as an executive producer on the show. It's by this point, 2007, that Lou Taylor starts targeting Britney Spears with this same Christian values shtick. And we have seen leaked emails between Lou and Britney from the time. Here's one that Lou sent to Britney where she's quoting Corinthians 14:1 or whatever. Picture of her and her stupid husband, Rob. And she's like, okay, on a personal note, I sent you the pink hat with added benefits. Girl, what's the added benefits? I do not know. She says, my friend Regina had breast cancer and lost her hair. Nikki Taylor's hair and makeup artist made about 10 hats. She loves hats and hair to carry her through treatment. When I saw the pink cowgirl hat, it reminded me of you and I thought you would enjoy it. I FedExed it to your house. So here's Lou Taylor writing an email to Britney Spears. This is Britney Spears 2007, the height of her, quote, meltdown. She's getting harassed and stalked by the paparazzi at the highest levels and highest degrees of anyone ever in history. She shaved her head, all that. And Lou is like, oh, I sent you some hats. And she's name dropping Nikki Taylor. Not only is she name dropping the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and the Bible, but she's name dropping her famous clients in order to seduce Britney into a comfort level, in my opinion. She says, oh, my man, this is Rob. He is hot, godly, and we have been married 18 years this June. Yeah, he loves being a pastor and he loves the fact that his wife is slightly crazy and not like other pastors' wives. LOL. There are many times he has wanted me to quit work and just be a pastor's wife, but I love getting to minister to all sorts of people and love the times when God says, who will go? I can say I will. 15 exclamation points. And then she says, from my heart to yours, Psalm 20 verse 4, may he grant you according to your heart's desire and fulfill all your purpose. So again, look right here, this email that's alleged to be Lou Taylor sending to Britney Spears. She is talking about the Lord. She quotes no fewer than 2 Bible verses, talks about her husband being a pastor and being godly, talks about God. I mean, most of the email is about God. But then you see Britney responding to the email in this allegedly leaked email. And so Britney says to Lou in this email, 2007, "Hello, sweetie. I hate the way we met. And that was through my father, who we both know is struggling, trying to figure out what he has done wrong by constantly instilling in people that something might be wrong with me." Right. So Brittany's kind of saying nothing's wrong with me. Something's wrong with my dad for trying to make people think something's wrong with me. I hate the way that me and you met. He brought you in trying to convince you that something's wrong with me when really something's wrong with him. That's what Brittany starts her email out by saying. She goes on to say, "I hope you are by his side and I would love to invite you to my wedding next year." This is going to be in 2008. She was going to get married. "It troubles me how much people are constantly bashing people left and right." She says, "I would also love to meet your husband you speak so highly of. He seems like such a doll. Again, even though your visit was pointless and actually humorous, it was cute to see someone so into what they do. Love always, Jack." So Brittany's basically patronizing Lou Taylor and saying like, it's so cute that we're trying to do something. And it makes me almost wonder, like, was it an exorcism or something? Because like Brittany starts the email by saying, "I hate the way we met. My dad is trying to convince people something's wrong with me. You coming was absolutely pointless, but it was cute." That's basically what she says. Then Lou wrote back, "Brittany, your dad forwarded me this address, so forgive the intrusion. I did not have the chance to speak with you since March, but I wanted to tell you how proud I am of you for sticking out a deliverance process." This is exorcism. Like, they're casting demons out. Like, I grew up in evangelical Christianity. You will never convince me that's not what was going on, but I don't know. I wasn't there. Lou tells Brittany, "I'm proud of you for sticking out a deliverance process. It takes courage to face something you're unsure of, and it takes so long. I wanted you to know that I think of you often, and I am praying that strength and peace constantly falls upon your heart. You are precious in his sight and a jewel in his crown. The Bible says God gives beauty for ashes, and you are beautiful. If you ever just need to talk offline, I am here for you." And then she signs her emails Coram Deo, which basically means under his eye. Handmaid's Tale. We have Lou Taylor. She sends this pink hat with maybe a wig or maybe some hair, added benefits, whatever in the hell that is, to Brittany's house. And she's sending these emails about deliverance process. Brittany's ignoring her because Lou Taylor is saying, "I haven't had a chance to talk to you." Brittany's saying it was pointless that I had to meet you. That was stupid, but I guess it was cute. Then Brittany sends an email to her lawyer in 2007, basically saying she is scared for her life, that she might die because of Lou Taylor. Let's see this email. Now, I will say also, Lou Taylor has come out and denied that this is an authentic email. I believe it is authentic, but Lou Taylor has said that it is not real. So she sends it to Gary Stifelman at zifrinlaw.com. This is July 2007. And here's Brittany to her lawyer. "Gary, since you are my lawyer, even though I don't know if you are really trying to protect me or not, there is this crazy lady, Lou Taylor, that has been sending stuff to my house. How did she get my address? And why can't you stop her? I don't know her. She is a stalker." This is Brittany, allegedly. "She is really terrifying me and my babies. If she knows where I live, she can just show up here. She sent me a effing pink hat and she's writing letters like she's my mother. She's been stalking me since Malibu, and it needs to stop because I don't have security. And Sam refuses to stay over every night because he has 1,000 dogs to go feed, and I have my babies in London, and she keeps saying I am possessed." There you go. Lou Taylor keeps saying to Britney Spears in 2007 that she is possessed. Think about it this way. Think about it this way, y'all. Jamie Spears is an evangelical Christian, okay? If he believes that truly and wholly, and Lou Taylor is able to trade on and capitalize on that, and Lynn Spears is an evangelical Christian, and they believe in God like this specific brand of God. Lou Taylor goes to the family. She's got demons. Y'all, these doctors are not going to help her. She needs an exorcism. She's got demons. Right? Like imagine. I don't know. I wasn't there, but that's what I imagine happened. That's how you get in. That's how you get in. And it's been going back since 1994, 1995, whenever she was the president of the Christian Chamber of Commerce, talking about we got to bring God into business. Now we have this alleged leaked email from Britney Spears saying, "Lou Taylor thinks I'm possessed and she is stalking me. I am scared. I am terrified. I do not have security and I am scared." She keeps saying I am possessed and that she needs to come and kill these spirits. I am asking you for help, please. This gated community cannot or will not keep my stalker mail from reaching my front door. The maid let the FedEx guy in, and that's how the hat got here. We told her 1,000,000 times to leave me alone, and now she's saying she's going to visit my drunk effing father in Kentwood. I don't care about him, but she could easily find my mother and hurt her. So already in 2007, Britney did not care if her dad got hurt or lived or died. And then he became her conservator for 13 years, 12 years. She said, what am I supposed to do? She's begging, she's pleading for help from this woman. And she was right. She says, I am scared. Can you call Sam? And Sam was like her personal assistant, friend, producer, hanger on. I don't know if he was good news or bad news, but he has authenticated this email. He has said that this is authentic email. She said, no one is listening to me. And now Lou sent me pictures of her and a man and butterflies. She is really crazy. Do you care if I'm dead? Because I cannot sign your checks if I am. Your client, Britney Jean Spears. And then around that same time, Britney puts out this video where she's clearly, obviously making fun of someone. And she's saying, go to the light and see Jesus.
Like this lady, she told me, she said, Britney, go to the light. Go to the light and see Jesus. Okay? And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. And I did it. And it happened. And it was just so weird because our world is so nice.
Now, around this same time, Lou Taylor would start to appear. Again, she's already Jamie Lynn Spears' manager at the time for Zoe 101. And she's kind of an A-list star herself at this point from that show. She's the family manager. She's Jamie Spears' manager. She's probably Lynn. I don't know if she's Lynn Spears' manager, but there's pictures of them together. And she's trying to get her talons into Britney and do this deliverance process, this exorcism, the casting out the spirits, according to the email. And it's no coincidence to me that it's a pattern. When Lou Taylor comes around in people's lives, they're usually at pretty bad parts in their lives. Nikki Taylor got in a car wreck and almost died whenever Lou Taylor started acting as her publicist. Ron Artest, Meta World Peace, was in one of the most troubling parts of his entire career when Lou Taylor came in and pretty much took over. Janoris Jenkins, we know, in 2012, ended up almost having Lou Taylor forced upon him because he was a problem child within the NFL or, within being drafted. And Britney Spears, 2007 was the height of her troubles. It was the year she shaved her head. It was the year she was doing this divorce and all of that. And that's when Lou Taylor starts making an appearance as the, quote, family spokesperson. She goes on to bash Dr. Phil, who I think was a competitor as Britney's co-conservator at the time, who also does this weird Christian values. And I'm not talking about actual Christian values. I'm talking about using it to make a bandit's cave out of the Lord's word. So in 2008, the year the conservatorship started, Lynn Spears, Britney's mom, puts out a book called Through the Storm. Now, in this book, she says that the team was scheming this conservatorship for weeks and that Jamie was going to file for it on January 22nd, 2008. But, quote, Lou felt God leading them to wait, fast, and pray in the weeks they were scheming and planning for the conservatorship. But the court documents tell a little bit of an alternative theory as to what they were really fasting and waiting and praying for. And it didn't have very much to do with God. It had a lot more to do with potentially benefiting Lou Taylor and Team Con at the extreme detriment of Britney Spears. In this 2022 court filing from Britney's legal team, they included several emails that exposed how the conservatorship was meticulously schemed. These emails showed the whole team, including Lou herself, Jamie Spears, his lawyers, and this guy named Andrew Wallet, who would go on to be the conservator of Britney's estate for more than 11 years. And then she said she never even knew him or talked to him, really. The emails included all those people. They were scheming and plotting back in January and February 2008 to put Britney into this unconstitutional and fraudulent conservatorship. Yes, they were. On January 30th, 2008, Jamie Spears' lawyer, Geraldine Weil, sent an email to Lou saying, quote, we have run into a problem with our judge selection. The only judge who will be able to hear our case on Friday is the one judge who will not give Jamie the power to administer psychotropic drugs to B. So there's a little bit of a Freudian slip where she calls the judge a drug, but maybe that's because she's on drugs or maybe that's because she's preoccupied with drugs. Girl, I do not know. I was not there. I cannot speculate. But she's sending an email to Lou Taylor saying, Lou, we've run into a problem. We were going to file for this conservatorship behind Britney's back. We're not going to give her notice. We're not going to tell her about it. But we have a problem. And the problem is we cannot forcibly drug Britney if we go with this judge. So we have to wait. We have to wait for a new judge. So in Lynn Spears' book, she's like, Lou said God told her to wait and fast and pray. But in the emails attached to literally court documents, that's not what it says. We don't have people saying let's wait and fast and pray. No. Let's wait because we can't forcibly drug this woman against her will if we go with the judge we wanted to go with, if we go with the day we wanted to go with. You see this email? You see it? Geraldine goes on to say in her email to Lou, the first time this judge is off the bench is Wednesday. That is the first safe day to be in court on this matter. If we go earlier, all of this work could well be for virtually nothing. AKA, we're not going to get our money, as Jamie will be able to get her diagnosed but not get her treated. Importantly here, it is showing that the lawyers knew that Britney had not been diagnosed with a damn thing. We've discussed with Jamie, we're in agreement that we would rather be safe than sorry. Please pray for Britney that we will get more info and she will suffer no further harm at the hands of this man, Sam. You can call me on my cell in about a half hour. Okay. But even Geraldine, we get a little hint of are we just referring people to within the family? Are we just referring people to within the Christian values cult that they started back in Palm Beach? And are we getting a little Christian Chamber of Commerce situation? And remember, do not forget, these people had to agree they would never sue each other in court. What does that sound like? Scientology. It sounds like a cult. We're not going to sue each other in court. That's the way God wanted it. That's what Lou said. We don't go to court. That's what God said. Well, then why is she suing Brian Kuchar? Why is she suing Fact Check Louise Taylor? If God don't want you to sue people, that's what I want to know. But let's go back to this email Geraldine wrote to Lou in the scheming and the planning and the plotting of Britney's conservatorship. Let me ask you, why would it be a problem, quote, problem, for a judge to deny Jamie the power to administer drugs? Why would it be a problem that they could not drug Britney? To me, the only reason this would be a problem is that their plan absolutely depended on being able to drug Britney. That's put in the comments below if you disagree, if you see a different reason. But let me ask you, why would it be a problem that they cannot forcibly drug Britney Spears? The email goes on to refer to the time when the judge will be off the bench as a, quote, safe day to be in court on the matter. Geraldine also discusses Jamie being able to get Britney diagnosed, which shows that at the time they applied for the conservatorship, Britney had not actually even been diagnosed with anything by a doctor. She wasn't sick. Sick of them, scared of them, probably paranoid rightfully because she was being stalked. And in my opinion, it was never about getting her help. It was about helping themselves to her SJB Trust money. And again, even in this email, Geraldine uses religion to hide the clear and obvious, in my opinion, trafficking scheme when she instructs Lou to, quote, please pray for Britney. Why don't y'all please pray for that judge y'all were going to use? Why don't y'all please pray to stop drugging this woman against her will? Please pray for Britney. In my opinion, this just shows the whole team seemingly hides behind religion and God to further their own benefit and their own agendas. In that same court filing where we got all those emails, we also learned that Lou Taylor was actually positioning herself to be one of Britney's co-conservators, acting through her company, TriStar at least. But that plan never materialized, and instead, Britney's dad would go on to serve in that spot. But here's the email from the court filing from 2022. And this email is from January 17th, 2008. This was weeks before the conservatorship was applied for. It's from Lou Taylor to Britney's dad, Jamie Spears. Lou says, I talked to the girls about Andrew Wallet. The girls are the lawyers. I talked to the other lawyers, the other schemers on Team Con. He and TriStar will serve as co-conservators with you. They cannot use Howard. He is an interested party. Well, TriStar did not end up being a co-conservator, like I said. And it probably is because she was also an interested party because she was the accountant for Britney. She was Britney's business manager. She was the court accountant who she was going to be giving all the accounting reports, which Matthew Rosengart claims are incomplete and faulty to the court. But each year they had to file accountings with the court and they have to tell the court what was going on with Britney's money. And Lou Taylor was in charge of that. So she never did end up being actually a co-conservator, but we do see in these emails that she was trying to through her company TriStar. And even though Lou wouldn't be acting as co-conservator, she still wanted to be kept in the loop on everything. The exact morning of the conservatorship, she was sending emails to these people, passive aggressive, basically fussing at them about some contract that they had all agreed to. And she seems to be a little miffed because they weren't keeping her in the loop. Like she really wanted to be all up in the know on every email. Look at this email. She says, okay, I'm absolutely fine with that. I just want to make sure that I am included in those conversations so I know what's going on. ... Remember that the engagement letter requires copies to come to our office and all documents to be preserved for the benefit of Jamie. Then she says, yes, I am really excited that the opportunity on Monday opened just as Jamie and I thought something would. It was perfect. I have all the confidence in you and we'll see you soon. So this again just seems to be schemes and plans and plots. And so Lou Taylor was trying to be co-conservator through her company TriStar. That didn't end up materializing. And instead, Jamie Spears, Britney's dad, served in that spot. But that little detail is further complicated by the fact that Lou/TriStar gave Jamie a loan for about $40,000 just weeks before the conservatorship started. Now I can only speculate because again, I wasn't there, but is it possible that Jamie Spears was suffering through some type of financial condition and Lou Taylor came in and helped him pay off some debts or something? Perhaps a quid pro quo in exchange for putting her in charge of Britney's career, life, choices, and assets? We already know that Britney's dad is no stranger to financial struggles, as he actually declared bankruptcy 10 years earlier in 1998, the exact same year that Britney Spears recorded the Baby One More Time album, her first album ever. So the year that Britney finished recording Baby One More Time, a minor, her parents would have had to enter into contracts for her. The same year she completed that album, her parents declared bankruptcy. So 10 years later, we got Lou Taylor giving Jamie Spears a loan for $40,000 right before Britney is put into an unconstitutional conservatorship where Lou Taylor was trying to be the co-conservator. But Lou didn't just stop at trying to be co-conservator over Britney. It seems like she even had plans to become the trustee of Britney's most valuable asset, the 2004 SJB Revocable Trust. Now, I have made videos on this SJB Trust before, and you should go and watch those on BJ Investigates. I'll put a little clip in right here explaining what the trust is. Oh my God, this is the cheapest. Being Britney trying to launch my rocket into the trust. So I have a little visual aid here. Okay, so here's her trust. And just think of it as this. This is all you need to know about a trust. It can hold things. It can hold things and technically, I guess, own them, okay? So she put her cars in there. Everything she owned, she put in there. Oh, she won $1 million at the casino. Yeah, that. And she put jewelry in there. Okay, so this is everything Britney Spears owns. Well, let me get her plane. Hold on, let me get her private jet. And she put her plane in there. Okay, so here's the trust. This is all the things Britney Spears owns in 2004. Everything she owns, she wanted to put in there. You can put everything in there. Oh, hold on. She need to put her money in there too. There was bank accounts, okay? Bank accounts in there. Like I'm at a Punjabi wedding. Here's Britney's trust. Got it? Established in 2004? Got it? Okay, good. Now, Britney made herself the sole beneficiary of the trust, and this was supposed to be in place until Britney herself changed the terms and conditions or whatever of the trust. TLDR, back in 2004, Britney had created a trust and put all her assets into it. Jewelry, clothes, cars, art, cash. She made herself the trustee, and in the event that she couldn't act as trustee, she had put some people in place. One of those people was her brother. So when she was put into the conservatorship, she was no longer legally allowed to be the administrator or the trustee of her trust, and her brother did step in as one of the trustees. There was also this other guy. Again, go watch my video on it. I did a whole video. The same month as the conservatorship started, Jamie's lawyer sent an email to him saying Lou expressed a desire to come in if when Brian is no longer trustee. I spoke to Lou today. We do need to talk to her about obtaining the info she has, which is concerning her. Although she expressed a desire to come in if/when Brian is no longer trustee. Well, girl, it didn't take long before Brian was no longer trustee. He got ousted in 2010. He quit. So in 2010, Brian's removed as trustee, and look at what happened to Lou Taylor's investment firm, Stonebridge Investment Counsel. The line just kept going up and up and up and up after the conservatorship started. So it leads me to wonder, did Lou have her talons in Britney's trust from all the way back then? I do not know. All I do know is what this email says, and it says Lou expressed a desire to, quote, come in if or when Brian, Britney's brother, is no longer the trustee. Jamie's lawyer goes on to say, I figured that we will deal with the issue this week as our plans get more firm. I am reminded Rome was not built in a day, but they could burn it down in a day, girl. So the next year, 2009, Britney's charity is actually bankrupted, and $50,000, more than half of the money in her charity, was donated to an organization called Mercy Ministries in Nashville. Here's an article from the Time. HollywoodNews.com says, Britney Spears is an almost 30-year-old mother of two who's still living under a conservatorship. She used to have a charity called the Britney Spears Foundation. Not so much anymore. According to the most recent federal tax filings, Britney's parents and a guy with the perfect name of Andrew Wallet have pretty much zeroed out the effort. The Britney Spears Foundation, as of this spring, now claims $17 in total assets. It says in December, the Spearses and Wallet sent $50,000 to Mercy Ministries of Nashville and $42,000 to Cry Help of California. Mercy Ministries helps young women with pregnancy issues, drugs, etc. to get back on their feet. Cry Help is a rehab facility. Now, Lou Taylor and her husband Rob are very, very inextricably intertwined with Mercy Ministries. Mercy Ministries has a checkered past of its own and has actually been banned in Australia for fraud and abuse. There's all kinds of pictures of Nancy with Lou Taylor and her husband Rob. This is something I've spoken about many times before. And Nancy is another one of these, quote, Jesus freaks who thinks that mental health issues are actually demons. Here's a video of her talking about Jesus did not say to medicate a demon. He said to cast it out. According to former members of Hillsong, Hillsong first helped congregants struggling with their sexuality pray the gay away in Exit Ministries, started by Frank Houston, or Mercy Ministries for lesbians.
So we're getting these girls in here and we have to flush out all the stuff that's been put in them that are just lies. And that's part of what we do at Mercy. We tell them the curse is broken in Christ. We tell them that the Word of God, you need to renew your mind. You need to replace the lies with the truth of what God says about you. And then we tell them that soul, spirit hurts. Jesus came to heal the brokenhearted. And then where there's areas, we deal with areas of demonic oppression. If there's demonic activity, like if somebody's opened themselves up to a spirit of through pornography or through lots of promiscuous sexual activity or something like that, then we've opened the door for demonic powers. And secular psychiatrists want to medicate things like that, but Jesus did not say to medicate a demon. He said to cast them out. And that's supposed to be a part of normal Christianity.
According to a 1993 newspaper ad that appeared in a Nashville newspaper for Mercy Ministries was established in 1983 as an outreach to troubled girls. Since opening its doors in 1983, the outreach had cared for over 1,000 girls. The ministry had operated 2 homes at the time, one in Louisiana and one in Nashville, Tennessee, where the corporate offices were located. During and after college, Nancy had spent 8 years working for the state of Tennessee. She spent the first 5 years working at a state correctional facility for juvenile delinquent girls, meaning a child prison. And the final 3 years investigating child abuse cases and supervising foster care placements. After those 8 years of secular work in social services for the state of Tennessee, Nancy was appointed Director of Women for Nashville Teen Challenge, where she then worked for 2 years. Nancy, in that article, claimed to have seen many of God's miracles over the last 12 years, as troubled girls had had the power of God deliver them from things such as drugs, alcohol, abuse, prostitution, eating disorders, severe depression, suicidal tendencies, lesbianism, and other problems related to physical and sexual abuse. Mercy Ministries was able to establish homes for their practices across the world, including St. Louis, Missouri, Monroe, Louisiana, and Nashville, Tennessee, while remaining relatively under the radar. However, what Nancy Alcorn didn't predict was the Australian media derailing her conversion practices through the power of public opinion. In 2008, the Sydney Morning Herald published an article destroying Hillsong's hurtful practices. They started off by saying, "A secretive ministry with direct links to Gloria Jean's Coffees and the Hillsong Church has been deceiving troubled young women into signing over months of their lives to a program that offers scant medical or physical care, instead using Bible studies and exorcisms to treat mental illness." The article went on to say, government agencies such as Centerlink have also been drawn into the controversy as residents are required to transfer their benefits to Mercy Ministries. There are also allegations that the group receives a payment to look after the young women. Mercy Ministries says 96 young women have graduated from its program since its inception in 2001. Now remember, this was from a 2008 article, but many have been expelled without warning and with no follow-up or support. 3 former residents who have felt the full force of Mercy's questionable programs are blowing the whistle on its emotionally cruel and medically unproven techniques, detailing their abuse, including exorcism, separation contracts between girls who became friends, and harsh discipline for those who broke the rules. Naomi Johnson, Rhiannon Canham Wright, and Megan Smith went into Mercy Ministries, independent young women, and came out broken and believing, as Mercy staff had told them repeatedly, that they were possessed by demons and that Satan controlled them.
And secular psychiatrists want to medicate things like that, but Jesus did not say to medicate a demon. He said to cast them out. And that's supposed to be a part of normal Christianity.
Not only is Mercy Ministries associated with Lou, but it's closely associated with Hillsong. Again, we're coming full circle with these mega churches who also have their own checkered pasts. The founder of Hillsong, for example, has been outed and ousted as a known pedophile who abused young boys. There have been other abusers in the church. There have been other people in the church abusing young children and women. And these are not just in the church. These are leaders. It's leadership. But it just makes me wonder, Mercy Ministries and Cry Help, the companies which Britney Spears' money was just handed over to these organizations, her charity was bankrupted, and they start giving it to Mercy Ministries and Cry Help. I just can't help but wonder, is that Lou Taylor's friends from the Christian Chamber of Commerce network? They're definitely Christians, an organization that, quote, helps young women with pregnancy issues, drugs, etc. But it's been other things in the past. It's been a gay conversion camp. It's been an adoption agency. And ironically, again, Britney is in the conservatorship full swing at this point. No control over her trust, no control over her assets, no control over her custody schedule, no control over her medical decisions. But look at the final sentence of this article. Spears is currently on world tour with dates in Florida this week. In fact, Lou Taylor actually tried to send Britney's little sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, to Mercy Ministries in 2008. The year before Britney's money was drained all out into this company and Cry Help, she tried to send Britney's sister there when she got pregnant at 16 years old. And again, the Mercy Ministries founder, Nancy Alcorn, strongly believes that life's problems are not caused by our own choices or bad circumstances, but rather they are caused by demons. This sounds familiar, right? Like to the email that Britney sent 1 or 2 years before her charity money was drained into this organization. She sent an email to her lawyer saying this crazy stalker thinks I have demons and spirits and she's trying to get my possession out of me. Then 2 years later, half of Britney's charity money goes to an organization that espouses precisely those types of beliefs. It's also been purported that Mercy Ministries does perform exorcisms on its VIC participants, whatever you want to call it. And even though Britney did not want anything to do with Lou Taylor, she was scared, quote, terrified of her, according to that email, called her a stalker, called her a crazy lady, said she was scared she was going to be dead because of Lou Taylor. Despite all of those fears, Lou Taylor would eventually become an all-encompassing figure in Britney's life, just like she said she was in Ron Artest's life a few years earlier. Here's some TikToks I made all the way back in 2020, showing the things that I found almost 4 years ago, y'all.
I was just browsing through this brochure of Lou Taylor's investment firm, where she is one of only 3 employees and is the executive vice president, to see about where some of the money of Britney Spears is going. Now, don't be too concerned if you don't understand this or get it right at first, but I've highlighted a couple ways that the firm itself is making money off of clients. So, as you can see on the fees and compensation, there is a regressive fee for the more money you have in the account, the less they charge you, but of course, the more they're actually making. But you can see the listing here, right? There's annual fees payable monthly, program fee, several fee components for the UMA platform, Callan fee, MPA fee, custodial fee at Fidelity. And my suspicion is that these are actually fees that Stonebridge itself needs to pay, but they just pass it on to their clients, which isn't necessarily illegal. But I wanted y'all to see one other part of this brochure. You can't get out of it until the client terminates the agreement in writing. But if Lou Taylor is someone's business manager and someone's investment manager, who do you think would need to terminate the agreement? Conflict of interest? So Stonebridge Investment Counsel has 3 employees, one of whom is Lou Taylor, the executive vice president, according to the SEC. It has $722 million under management, but you'll notice that about $600 million of those dollars came in 2020. That seemed like a lot to me, so it made me investigate. As we all know, the former conservator of Britney Spears' estate, Andrew Wallet, resigned in 2019. And everyone's been asking, where is all of Britney Spears' money that she made from all of the tours and everything else? Basically, Andrew Wallet moved out of the way, handed over the reins.
Importantly, notice how the assets in Lou's management firm skyrocketed after Britney was put into the conservatorship. Here's one I made about that $600 million that came back to haunt all of them.
And all of a sudden, $600 million ended up under Lou Taylor's investment firm. Now we have Mitch Martin, who lists that he's the founder and CEO of Stonebridge Investment Counsel on his LinkedIn. But if you go to Lou Taylor's LinkedIn, she doesn't list it anywhere. But Lou and Mitch have been together for a while. Stonebridge is the third company that I've seen them together on. And one of those companies got in a lot of trouble and was ultimately shut down in 2014. The other company, TriStar Sports and Entertainment.
So like I said earlier, Lou Taylor is a pastor's wife, and her husband and her started a church called Calvary Chapel in Brentwood, Tennessee. And that church has worked in collaboration with the likes of Mercy Ministries, for example. They also started some type of orphanage, home for children, school. I'm not exactly sure what it is. It's like some type of orphanage, type of hospital, type of thing for kids in Haiti. And back in 2018, Calvary Church, with Lou Taylor's husband, Rob Taylor, he stood up and allowed this lady to give an annual report on the school, on the Haitian school. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that she says this sentence seems like maybe some kids have died there.
And not everyone in this room is going to step foot in Haiti, but everyone in this room can contribute to the work that's being done through Lakai Tamoun, through Suzelle, and through that small community.
In your prayers, his family refused to send him to the doctor. We said we were going to pay for his medical needs, but his family refused to send him to the doctor, even with injuries. We stand by him. He was trampled by a bull, and he's only 5 years old, but they don't want to send him to the doctor. They said if he goes to the doctor, they are going to give him medicine or it's going to make him sick, sleep, and they don't want him to sleep. And I don't know why, because if I have a kid who is sick, if he's sleeping, that will be a good thing. But in the school, last year we began with 32 students, and we lost one in March. One left the school in May. But we had backpacks full of goodies, not only for our students, but also for other kids in the community, and we praise God for that.
At least one? Maybe not. Maybe they lost them in the woods or something. I don't know. But she says one left and we lost one. Where'd they lose him? How'd they lose him or her? I'm just curious. Now, it was around 2002 that Lou Taylor also founded her own asset management firm. She founded it with a man named Mitchell Stanley Martin. Now, Lou and Mitchell Stanley Martin had started working together all the way back in like 2001 or 2002 at Prime Capital Services. Well, by 2002, Lou Taylor, I guess learning from Tim at Old Dominion Asset Management, decided that she wanted to take a stab at asset management of her own. So she and Mitchell Stanley Martin did found a company called Stonebridge Investment Counsel. Stonebridge Wealth Management, Stonebridge, it's had a lot of names, girl. Then 10 years after that, in 2012, they did go ahead and rename it and kind of restructure it or something. But while Lou Taylor was acting as Britney's business manager, she was the account reporter on Britney's assets, meaning she was the one who had to tell the judge what Britney's money was doing. She was in charge of all of the personal hires around and in Britney's circle, including her security, her other managers, her publicists. I mean, Lou Taylor was in charge of everything. And she was also putting Britney's money into her own asset management firm. Now, this is the asset management firm that she would later try to force me to stop talking about, which she sees how that worked out. But that's not very Christian-like to me, with all them conflicts of interest. Fast forward to today, and we do realize that Lou Taylor, TriStar Investment Counsel and all that, is also P. Diddy's business manager. She's being implicated with the P. Diddy stuff. She's been implicated with the Travis Scott stuff. And I found some articles yesterday that kind of show P. Diddy as a little bit of a prayer weirdo too. None of these people act like Christians, by the way. None of them act like Christians. None of them act like what they're supposed to be doing. So it just makes me feel where I am with it right now, like bad actors who don't really believe any of it. They think it's bullshit, but they're tricking people, innocent, vulnerable people, perhaps even good people, into allowing them to take over their whole lives because they're Christians. Mitchell Stanley Martin, Louise Mary Sawyer Taylor, all of them, Kris Jenner, Kim Kardashian, they all act like they are so holy and Christ-like. But when you really get down to it, I mean, check the federal lawsuit filings. I'll just put it that way. Now, Lou Taylor has allegedly stepped away from the management firm, and she no longer works at the asset management firm and all that. That's cute, but she sure did found it. That's all I really had for today. In the meantime, facts ain't defamation, and neither are opinions. Love you, mean it. Okay, bye.
Something right now because I know you're watching. I will be saying everything you tried to do to me.